I'm gonna start that over. We're recording this for YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and all that. So I got to make sure I get everything right and to remembering to record it so I can just upload it. That way I don't have to download it. I can just upload it to YouTube. So I'm gonna start over because I'm trying to, like I said, put it on YouTube, and I just recorded after I started it. So, yo, Johnny coming to y'all live, bringing it to y'all the only way that I know how to bring it, live and direct. That's why we call this Johnny Live, okay? So get your facts together, get your shit straight, and come here so we can talk and debate some of this stuff. Now, yesterday I was talking about abortions, right? The fact that Mississippi banned all abortions. And before we go on, I need y'all's support. If you follow me on Facebook, you follow me on Instagram, you follow me on whatever platform, you follow me on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, and all that. Y'all know it. Y'all got the routine. Like and subscribe so I can bring you more videos like this and we can discover it, because we got a lot of stuff to talk about, y'all. This is just like the tip of the iceberg. A lot of stuff has been going undercover, and I know that we're not thinking about that. We at a club, we kicking it. I get it. We having a good time, but the world is changing. The world is changing. If you got somebody who it's like, okay, I'm gonna point this out to y'all. I'm gonna show y'all this, but I'm not gonna decide for you. I'm gonna let you decide, but I'm gonna point it out to you. You got somebody like that who could do that, then yo, support should be behind that person 100%, because we can miss a lot of stuff. So drop the hate, you know what I'm saying? Pick up the support and drop the hate. That's gonna be my motto all 2023. All right. The rest of 2023 going into 2024. All right. So with that being said, y'all, this is crazy. This is insane. Like a 13-year-old was forced to have a baby in Mississippi. We're gonna watch the video because I've heard about the story before, and I believe she was raped and still made to have the baby. And that is just crazy, y'all. And I wanted to bring y'all this video because we were talking about yesterday. Somebody asked, like, well, what if it was a rape victim, or what if it was the instance where the mom's gonna die? In Mississippi, it does not matter. You're not allowed to have an abortion on that baby. You have to go full term, point blank, period. Two things change. If you want to have an abortion, you may have to drive 2.5 hours out of your state to have an abortion. God forbid you got different appointments, because then that's 2 times. You got to take off work. You got to get somebody to drive you, because you can't drive back by yourself. So you got to get 2 people who are willing to travel out of state 2.5 hours to have an abortion. And then, that's just insane to me. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to let y'all watch this video. We're going to come back and then y'all tell me what y'all think. Okay, here we go.
Nightmare is becoming reality for so many. Disturbing real-life horror stories are surfacing in states with the most restrictive abortion bans. In a story first reported by Time magazine, this month, a girl only 13 years old gave birth after her mother said that her daughter was raped and impregnated by a stranger in Clarksdale, Mississippi last year. The girl could not get an abortion and is now a mom going into the 7th grade. The mother of the girl tried to find an abortion clinic, but the last provider in Mississippi closed last summer after the Supreme Court's decision in Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Clinic. That meant the closest abortion provider was in Chicago, Illinois, and that drive to Chicago would have been more than 9 hours from Clarksdale, Mississippi, and ultimately the mother decided it was too costly of a trip. Today, Mississippi, along with many of the states surrounding it, has a 6-week abortion ban with limited exceptions for rape or if the pregnancy is life-threatening. But these exceptions are rarely granted and poorly tracked. Joining me now, Greta Kemp-Martin, the litigation director for Disability Rights Mississippi and the Democratic candidate for Mississippi Attorney General. Greta, thanks for joining the show. First, I just want to get your reaction to this incredibly heartbreaking story of a 13-year-old girl who was raped, forced to give birth, and now is going to go into 7th grade.
Well, first, thank you for having me, Katie.
So just to recap, in order for her to have an abortion, she would have to go to Chicago, come here to Chicago to Midwest, and that would have been almost 9 hours. Y'all know how it is to travel to Mississippi. It's just not costly. I didn't know they had. I thought it was 2.5 hours for someone to get an abortion, but they're saying they have to come all the way down to the Midwest to have an abortion, and that's if they have openings.
Is unfortunately a common story. What we are seeing in this post-Dobbs landscape that was created by my opponent is that we have restrictive policies across the state that do not allow women to get the care that they need. And even the exceptions that are in place are narrowly interpreted and in some cases are fearfully applied. And in this case in particular, it failed. So even though there is a rape exception in Mississippi, even if the victim filed a police report, it appears that there's just no clear process for granting these exceptions when someone needs abortion care.
Yeah, and Greta, to your point about these exceptions, in the beginning of this year, the New York Times reported that in your state of Mississippi, those two exceptions exist since that state's abortion ban went into effect. But the state is requiring that a rape be reported to law enforcement in order to qualify for a legal abortion. So you actually have to go to the police and be victimized again, in my opinion. But even if an exception is made, that person still must travel out of the state to even obtain the procedure that potentially could save her life. So what needs to be done, Greta, to ensure that there's equity in not only abortion access and care for everyone, including the most vulnerable residents living in your state?
Well, I think my hope is that our federal government would eventually codify Roe and this would not be a problem. But as we stand in this post-Dobbs world, I believe there has to be some broad interpretations of these exceptions. Even the exception that allows an abortion for the life of the mother, we have physicians who are fearful of even utilizing that exception to treat their patients because they're afraid they'll be penalized, they'll be criminalized, they'll have their license taken from them. So these exceptions do not work. So if you are going to place a 15-week abortion ban here in Mississippi, you have to be able to apply these exceptions in cases like we are seeing here in Clarksdale, Mississippi, like we have seen across the country where the life of the mother has been at risk. We've had women being sent out to the parking lot and told, until your life is at risk, I cannot adequately treat you. So these exceptions have to be broadly interpreted. And honestly, we need more exceptions. You know, here in Mississippi, we do not have an incest exception. Our lawmakers have expressed that that will never happen in this state. So if you're going to have exceptions for adequate care, you have to have them broadly interpreted.
Yeah, Greta, that last abortion clinic in Mississippi, it closed after Dobbs came out last summer in 2022. But before Dobbs, patients could drive to a Memphis clinic that was only 90 minutes north or to another clinic in Jackson just 2.5 hours south. What are your Mississippi residents telling you as you're campaigning to be the next AG about this attack on their reproductive rights?
So, you know, I do not believe that Mississippians' position on abortion is as clear-cut as my opponent and her Republican friends would like to think. Right after Dobbs in June of 2022, we had a slight majority of Mississippians that actually disagreed with the decision to overturn Roe versus Wade, about 51%. And only about 18% of Mississippi voters want abortion to be illegal in all cases. And then as recently in June of this year, we have polling that says that individuals that voted in the Republican primary on August 8th, about 45% supported repealing the trigger law that bans most abortions in this state. Plain and simple, Mississippians, especially Mississippi women, do not want the government interfering in their medical decisions. And I think time and time again, we are seeing that across the state, but our lawmakers and my opponent just continue to ignore the wishes of Mississippians.
Yeah, and Greta, Mississippi has the second highest maternal mortality rate in the United States, with 43 deaths per 100,000 live births. And black women in Mississippi are 4 times as likely to die from pregnancy-related complications as white women. So what does this say about Mississippi's priorities for reproductive health care as a whole?
Well, I believe it speaks volumes. Clearly, reproductive health care is not a priority for our lawmakers. Honestly, health care in general does not seem to be a priority for our lawmakers. We are one of the few states that have failed to expand Medicaid. We have maternal health care deserts across the state. So, of course, our women are dying because they can't receive the care they need in their communities. And time again, we have had Mississippians tell our lawmakers just loudly that we would like our health care improved. We would like Medicaid expansion to occur. And our lawmakers continue to ignore what Mississippians truly want and what they're begging for. We have Mississippians dying. This is a healthcare crisis, not just for our maternal health care, but all healthcare across the board. And the time is now to make a change.
Greta Kemp-Martin, thank you for joining us today and for lending your insight into these issues. For the record, we did reach out to Mississippi Attorney General Lynn Fitch to appear on the Katie Fang Show, but have not heard back. Thanks for being here.
No, he definitely not going to appear on the show because this is a very, very hot topic, and I'm sure he wants to stay as far away as he can. Like, this is the thing that I understand. Republicans are saying that they want us to have the baby, no abortion, but then when the baby gets here, they snatch a child care credits and things like that away. You have to pay attention to the game they playing. They just put 50% more kids in poverty by not expanding the child tax credit. You know what I'm saying? So whether the moms were spending out on kids or not, that's a whole different story. Whether they was in the club spending out money, I don't know, but that's near there. But no, I'm just being funny. I know a lot of parents actually spent that on their kids, getting stuff for them, school clothes, maybe a car or something like that, something to help expand and help their life. You know what I'm saying? And now you got Republicans that are taking that away, but at the same time saying that they can't have an abortion, that they have to suffer with these kids. These kids have to grow up in poverty because we're not going to give you a helping hand once you're here. Yeah, we want you to get here. We want you to get here, but when you get here, we ain't got nothing to do with you. We ain't gonna give you no type of good. The schooling, the education we're gonna teach you is gonna be warped. We're gonna teach you that slavery was right. You know, these type of things, and it's just totally insane and crazy. So, yeah, we got to pay attention to what's going on in the world today, because if you don't, you're gonna miss a lot of it. And before you know it, you're gonna be dealing with some of these same issues. Yes, this is Mississippi, 9 hours away, but these type of things are going to make its way through everywhere. Okay, just got to pay attention. Yes, we're in a more democratic type state where it's like, okay, yeah, you can have an abortion here, but the rules can change, things can change, and you need to, because if it's a nationwide abortion ban, that means everywhere across the board. That means if you get certain people here who implements a nationwide abortion, then that's everywhere. And you see how hard and what thing people are going through right now. So we're gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna talk to y'all later. I'm gonna holler at y'all. Peace. Bringing it to you the only way I know how.